And which is why we need to work towards growth even harder.
No, that point is taken, but maybe when we say growth, we are still jumping the gun because banks in particular are worried about how much degrowth can happen in some sectors. And that's the question I really wanted to ask you. You know, we have had a fair share of accidents in the third quarter numbers in the banking results. Some eye-popping NPLs have come. What's your sense about the NPL cycle itself? Are we done? Are we 90% done? Or are we much less done?
I will look at NPLs and stress together because
yes,
banks in India can push NPLs into restructured assets, and that
at
is
least
still
for
stress.
a year.
that is stress. The current reported NPLs plus restructured assets in the banking system are about 10% of the loans. And let's go back to numbers. Banking capital is 6 lakh crores. Banking loans are total about close to 70 lakh crores. At currently reported stress, gross is about 10%, which is 7 lakh crores. My view is stress which is still embedded in balance sheets of the banking system, not reported either as restructured or NPLs, is another 5%.
Okay.
So if you combine that, the total stress in the system is about 10 lakh crores.
Okay.
Not all of it is bad.
Okay.
Therefore, if you...
How much will be bad?
In my view, around 35 to 40%.
Okay.
So you're then talking about a recapitalization of the banking system of 3.5 to 4 lakh crores out of 6 lakh crores in the next 3 years.
Will that be tough?
I think it's a challenge, and keeping in mind that 75% of this or more is in public sector banks, because that's their share of the banking industry. That recapitalization either has to come from the fisc, or if it has to come from markets, a new government will be challenged on what to do with 51% ownership in public sector banks.
Okay, that is going to be a very big question that the next government will face.
Absolutely.
You know, Governor Rajan has come with his own views to hopefully expand the number of banking licenses so that capital comes in other ways. Just your guess, I mean, how many new licenses could come?
Lata, I think we have to be clear about the big things. 75% of the banking system is state-owned banks.
Yes.
Even if you get a few new banks, it's a delta of 0.5 to 1% of the system. So let's not focus on 0.5 to 1%, whether it's 0.5%, 1%, 1.5%. I think the delta or the needle does not move for the banking sector dramatically in the short to medium term with just new banks. They will make a difference, as I said, which is marginal.
Yeah, at the real issue, maybe 10 years down the line, they are a force.
The real issue is how are we going to deal with the broader banking sector issues? And I think public ownership of state-owned banks will be a big question for any new government in terms of recapitalization needs of Indian banking.
Or to take a policy stance that we are ready to adjust to less than 51%.
That is the issue. I don't think the political debate so far has focused on it, but as the challenges of the banking system grow over the next 3 to 6 months, the next government will have to face it head on.
Let me come to just that Nachiket More committee report, since you know, you are intimately involved with both banking as well as the non-banking sector. One of the key things is, of course, things like payments bank, so that, you know, other sectors come in. He's also speaking about the NBFCs getting, you know, business correspondent or banking correspondent licenses. Do you think that's a smart way to scale up that sector?
I think
scale up banking, actually.
I'm open to building a distribution network which gets deeper into India. I'm also open to models which give sort of a differentiated opportunity for players. What we have to ensure, and I've seen this time and again in the Indian financial sector, we've got to be careful about arbitrage. People should be out there to build businesses, not arbitrage and make short-term profits. And any policy has to be sustainable for building a business and not a quick buck.
Well, I hope the RBI has shown a record of being alive to this, and they will be. Well, let me come to one last question. Do you think the banking space, especially because, you know, you have told us in the past that you are looking at consolidation. Do you see yourself being able to find banks, because you're in a situation where people will require capital? Are we going to see consolidation? Will you get a chance?
I hope so. And I just wanted to say that we are eager to look at opportunity. We as a bank are sitting with 1% of the banking system loans and 3% of the banking system capital. So we are at 3x capital compared to our current loan book and the average of the banking sector. We believe that a sector which needs 3.5 to 4 lakh crores of capital, it is a good place to be with surplus capital. And our key focus is to build capacity. Now we can build capacity organically. That means more branches, more digital, more customer acquisition. And the second is inorganically. But on inorganic, we are very clear that we must see value. And our view is that in the case of many banks, the markets are not fully reflecting the pain which is embedded in their balance sheets.
But you think there is a very good chance you're going to find value now that the stress is coming
We
out?
hope that it will be manifest in the next 6 to 12 months.
Okay, you'll give us a headline.
We will try our best to give you news fairly.
All right. Well, finally, Mr. Kotak, since you've seen markets and banking for so long at such close quarters, are we really an 8% economy? When the dust settles and we mend the tear in the fabric, even then, was 8 and 9% an aberration of irrational global exuberance? We're not really 8%. We should be able to educate ourselves into something else.
Lata, we must learn to build granularly like a marathon.
Okay.
Let's move the needle first from 5 to 6. Stabilize at 6 and then aspire for more. Therefore, like a marathon runner, let's do the right things consistently over a long period of time. And I am clear, if there's one thing which I've seen about India, from my own lens over the last 25 to 30 years, as we've built our financial business in India, is India looks very challenging as a photograph. India is wonderful as a movie.
Okay. Well, that said, I mean, if you are saying that we have to get to 6 and stabilize at 7 before we aspire, have foreign investors looking at India corrected their perceptions to that? Because that will mean a different earnings trajectory.
Lata, keep in mind that the world is also going towards much slower GDP. Therefore, you're moving towards a world which is going to grow at around 3.5% average. Therefore, if India can move from 5 to 6 sustainably as the first step, that is an achievement with low inflation, with good governance, and then aspire to go faster.
All right, Mr. Kotak, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was a many-sided,
Thank you very much.
many-splendored conversation. Thank you very much for joining us.
Great. Thank you.